It was very emotional that the way Guneet came and, how the country embraced her. And, she's written a whole new chapter for Indian women in the world. For me, actually, in the media world, she's the most powerful Indian woman in the world who is respected across the borders.
What does Vikas Khanna's cheat meal look like?
So today, one of my favorite person in New York, Mr. Randhir Jaiswal, Consul General of India. Today was his farewell party. So he offered me samosas and I ate all of them. And I also had a gulab jamun. And, you mainly cheat meals. Huh? You can go to americansikhfilm.com. And for a short period of time, we put the movie up there. It's an animated film, almost 9 minutes. And your heart will be happy that you saw something like that.
Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. I am Shreeja Bhattacharya, and today I'm joined by the supremely talented Michelin-star chef Vikas Khanna. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Ji, nice to meet you.
And you don so many different hats. You are so good at a lot of things. How do you manage to remain calm through it all? And how do you juggle so many different things all at once?
I stay very calm and I prioritize. दिन में वही 24 घंटे हैं. अभी भी रात के यहाँ पे 1-1:30 बज गया होगा. अभी भी I have to finish like at least have 16 emails more. I see that marked for me, which have to be responded. And फिर सुबह उठते we have a very big event for American Sikh movie. So, and I promised everybody who's coming tomorrow that I'm going to cook personally for them.
Oh, wow.
I just feel that there is a lot of shukrana in this journey, that there's a lot of gratitude. And then you feel that there's so much of love everywhere that it encourages you to push yourself even more. A lot of people, they become, anything which then they fall down, they become negative, which I used to be too. But now I figured out that I have to stay balanced and I need to prioritize कि किस चीज की ज्यादा attention है. If I need to do something, and I do everything personally, movies or documentaries or restaurant or book or, so I try to do everything personally, but I also prioritize them. Right now we are working for the books for 2027. So you can understand कि कितना pre-advance में चीजें चल रही होती हैं.
Right. And do you sort of have a mantra to, keep yourself grounded and calm at all times?
काम तो मैं बिल्कुल नहीं हूँ, मैं लगता हूँ काम तो नहीं होता मैं. That when you're running kitchens and all, you generally have to be very balanced because everything is so much time based, precision based. अगर एक प्लेट पे 4 एलिमेंट्स जाने हैं तो हर चीज बिल्कुल वैसी होनी चाहिए. हर प्लेट, it's like such a, you're producing stuff but it still has to be so unmanufactured, it has to be so real. तो उसमें कामनेस चली जाती है. बट मैंने कसम खाई थी एक बार 2003 में, 2004 में, कि मैं कभी किचन में चिल्लाऊंगा नहीं. So I have kept that mantra because I feel when I shout, I unbalance everybody's working method. So I have figured out that I don't want to be that chef. So before the service starts, I will do everything to make sure that everybody's on track. And when the service ends, I don't talk to anyone. Next morning, I have a whole list of complaints which need to be addressed. So people know that उस time पे miss नहीं हो रहा, कि उसी time पे चिल्लाई नहीं जा रहा. And of course, it's a tough job, but staying calm is the only way forward.
Right. And I have to tell you this, that the country loves watching you on screen, at MasterChef. Do you think that being a judge at a show which is as popular as MasterChef comes with its own challenges?
Absolutely. It's a cooking show where a lot we are eating and we are commenting, and you have your own favorite people. And sometimes dance and singing shows me, you can watch it, you can see right in front of you and you can judge it. And sometimes it's challenging. People feel that this was not correct, and you were the one who watched everything in totality. और एक और चीज भी होती है, जैसे रेस्टोरेंट में आज आपको खाना बहुत बुरा दिया है, the chef cannot come to you and say, अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो, बुरा दिया, पिछले महीने तो अच्छा खिलाया था. Even in the cooking shows it works like that. You're as good as your last dish. and we have to stay balanced on that. और ऊपर से बड़े challenges होते हैं, मेरा traveling करना इतना ज़्यादा, it's sometimes very difficult because all my businesses, everything is based out of US, but I take it as a very important responsibility to put everything on hold and go and do this show, because it's very close to my mom's heart, first of all, and it's her favorite show. So 13 साल से मैं कर रहा हूँ, और तकरीबन 14 साल से, and I feel that it's because it's very close to her heart, and this gives her an identity. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud.
And it's so lovely. How does your mother react to seeing you on screen? Does she give you like little, cues that you should do this probably the next time? Or maybe this person could have been better on the show?
मेरी मम्मा को बिल्कुल criticize करना नहीं अच्छा लगता, क्योंकि we are judges, we have to talk about how the things are not exactly where it should be. तो मेरी मम्मा कहते छोटी सी तो बात थी, and then it's like बिल्कुल घर में जैसे होता है ना, छोटी सी बात है ना, इतना क्या फर्क पड़ता है, 19-21 होता रहता है खाने में. तो my mama sometimes says that तूने बहुत बदतमीज से बोला. I'm like, मम्मा मैंने तो नहीं बोला. कहते नहीं, तूने उसको ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए था. And I love it, I love it. The mom takes the review on that, and my mom somehow wants me to wear bright colors all the time, which is a very desi issue with my mom. And I just feel that sometimes she's also correct, and she says, she doesn't look at the show as a professional chef, as her son. She looks at it जैसे घर में खाना critique हो रहा है. And sometimes I don't argue with her. I don't say anything to her. So I understand what she means. Her heart is in the right place. So she means that, a lot of kids are watching you. You have to be encouraging and uplifting them.
Right. That's so beautiful. And, you have been judging MasterChef for so long. What, according to you, is that one thing that takes to be a MasterChef, really?
I think you have to be like a sponge. It's a 3-month, 4-month boot camp of food. Imagine that, right? Anybody who has passion to cook, they can make a few dishes. You can get into the show, right? If you have to be efficient, you have to understand cooking techniques. If you've trained, घर में ही देख के खाना बनाया हुआ है, आप आ सकते हो शो में. But to stay in the show, you should be constantly be able to learn. There are so many classes which happen, which you guys don't see it on the show, but to train these people, to train these home cooks, to show them the right path of plating a dish, to understand about international cuisines, because now by virtue of so much of online cooking videos, that Indians have become so aware of what is happening internationally.
Yes.
So now our home cooks have to match that also. So we need to train them कि क्या डिश है, क्या खाना. आप देखेंगे बहुत ज़्यादा फूड नॉलेज भी होती है शो के अंदर. So we are very focused on that. But for me, that is, anyone who can absorb that has the capability of use this. Maybe they don't win or they win or they don't win, doesn't matter. तो वो ना मुझे लगता है कि लाइफ में बहुत यूज कर सकते हैं इन स्किल्स को जो वहाँ सीखते हैं.
True. And you keep traveling so much. And like you said, there's a lot of Indians now are getting to know about the international cuisines and are trying to incorporate methods in their cooking. What do you think of the fusion Indian street food that is coming up?
No, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not going to reply on that. I'm not. मैंने कल ही देखा है कोई पान पसंदा का ऑमलेट.
But have you tasted any such brilliant
होता है शो में कभी कभी ऐसी चीजें. बट कल ही मैंने इंस्टाग्राम पे स्टोरी लगाई कि मुझे पान पसंदा का वो किसी ने लगा के ना उसके ऊपर ऑमलेट बनाया. मैं कहा भाई बस कर दो. नहीं बड़ा पाव था कुछ, समथिंग दे पुट इन दैट एज अ मसाला. आई एम लाइक भाई ये तो बहुत दूर चले गए आप लोग.
Do you wish to try any such combination? What is your ideal combination? अगर try करना है तो.
मैं करता हूँ खाना ऐसा टेस्ट. पीछे रणवीर और मी we were calculating that how many dishes I must have tasted over the last 14 years on the show. It's like thousands of dishes you've tasted. मतलब कभी कभी डिश इज ऑल्सो एन एलिमेंट्स, यू नो, एक डिश है पर उसमें 4 एलिमेंट्स हैं, तो 4 एलिमेंट्स आपने टेस्ट की, तो हमने लाखों में टेस्ट किया है मैंने, और हुआ अतरंगी चीजें भी होती हैं एंड समटाइम्स, यू नो, बट I just feel that people bring to me with so much of love and grace that I have to respond with the same energy.
The internet is absolutely obsessed with your physical transformation, your journey into fitness. How do you, you're always around food. Like you said, you have to keep tasting dishes. How do you maintain yourself?
मेरा बिल्कुल फिक्स्ड डाइट होती है. I have people who work with me. They know my diet is exactly fixed, and it's also time based because I travel so much globally. So I have to keep that diet based on that country's, that city's time zone. तो मेरा खाना जो होता है एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट्स में होता है कि जो मैं आप कंज्यूम करता हूँ. आई डोंट इवन ईट सॉल्ट और मिर्च मसाला, कुछ नहीं खाता मैं. नमक भी नहीं खाता, बहुत कम होता है मेरा नमक. बिकॉज क्या होता है कि आई वॉन्ट टू कीप माई पैलेट as empty as possible. Because when I taste something, I should be able to break it down right away. और ये मैं अभी का नहीं कर रहा, मैं कोई तकरीबन 10 साल से ऊपर हो गया मुझे करते हुए. और मेरी अपनी क्या होता है कि आई रन एवरी डे, वेरी रेगुलर इन रनिंग. आई एम ऑल्सो वेरी स्वेयर एस्थमेटिक. और मुझे डॉक्टर ने कहा था कि फॉर यू टू कीप योर लंग्स वेरी एक्टिव, यू नीड टू डू सम फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सरसाइज एवरी सिंगल डे. So because of that, I do that. And I also cook all my meals myself. Even when I'm living in hotels, I will cook my own कि मुझे क्या टाइम पे क्या खाना है. So मैं बहुत डिसिप्लिन्ड हूँ और मैं रात को लेट खाता नहीं हूँ. That has always been my regime. Most of the times, you know, cheats तो होती हैं, but most of the times, and I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. So it also, but you know, look, people focus so much on diet. It's also balancing your mental health.
True. Uh, I think what you said is so right. Mental health plays a very big role whenever we're looking at a physical transformation. How have you tried to focus on that at a personal level?
It's not easy, you know, there's a lot of pressure. Anybody who achieves so much, you know, I've had neck breaking success, I know that. I've also had neck breaking failures. And balancing the mind for me is how quickly you can recover and move on. मेरे लिए ये बहुत जरूरी रहा है. कुछ दिन पहले मैंने रणवीर के साथ इंटरव्यू किया था, पॉडकास्ट किया था. उसमें we did speak about issues I never spoke about. You know, there's so much because most of my career happened when I came to US. Like, you know, ambitions happened when I came here. The benchmarks happened when I came here. तो एक चीज मैंने बहुत नोट की है कि लाइफ में सबसे बड़ा लॉस इज नॉट losing your restaurant or your business or your cooking school. It is the loss of a sibling or a parent, family. तो मुझे लगता है कि उसकी वजह से ना मेरा बहुत ज्यादा हिल गया था मैं कुछ साल. So I hope I'm doing okay. I'm doing much better. But it's also I immerse myself in my work, you know, which is good and bad both. I know that. But I do feel that people mourn too much about the loss of finances, but your true loss is losing a parent or losing a sibling.
I mean, of course.
And when we talk about, आपने अच्छा question पूछा. Many people are struggling. But I also feel that people have so much of pain now because social media has exposed a lot of it. Anxiety now because we see too much of negative stuff. You know, negative news travels way faster than anything positive. People have in such a form of uncertainty and there's nothing which is unconditioned. Everything has become a transaction in so many ways. So I think बच्चों के लिए बहुत बड़ा pressure रहता है ये. Always trying to look perfect, to look happy. You know, it's a big pressure.
Absolutely. And, for somebody like you who has the sort of influence, I think you're doing a wonderful job in advocating mental health and uh, the importance of it in today's day and age.
You don't know, and it's a very tough question. आप जो पूछ रहे हो कि helping, I want people to understand that they should ask for help when they're feeling very low. You know, Um, I had a very good teacher, therapist, who told me that, to everyone who leaves their bed in the morning, just pat yourself on the back. You did a great job. Half of the problem starts from there. He's saying you left your bed, pat yourself on the back, take care of yourself, be hygienic, be clean, get ready, stand on your feet, exercise, try to eat good food, be happy, make good friends, continue to believe in love even when you're heartbroken. Um, and I thought that was like something so simple.
On a lighter note, you mentioned you do have cheat meals. I'm completely diverting. Absolutely on a lighter note. What does Vikas Khanna's cheat meal look like?
So today, one of my favorite person in New York, Mr. Randhir Jaiswal, Consul General of India. Today was his farewell party. So he offered me samosas and I ate all of them. And I also had a gulab jamun. And ये mainly cheat meals हैं. बहुत कम खाते हैं. अगर खुद बनाओ तो try to make it little healthier forms, कुछ ना कुछ change करके ताकि मन की शांति भी रहती है. But today I had samosas and gulab jamun. I had everything because he's one of my favorite person, and he's leaving New York and going back to Delhi. So I was like, today your party, all my cheat meals.
Right. So now we'll divert a little from the topic of food. You are also associated with the Oscar qualified animated short American Sikh. Uh, would you like to tell us a little about that?
So I'm the executive producer on the film with me and Oscar winner Guneet Monga Kapoor. We are both on this film. It's one of the most powerful short animated films you'll watch. You can go to americansikhfilm.com, and for a short period of time, we put the movie up there. It's an animated film, almost 9 minutes, and your heart will be happy that you saw something like that. It's about a Sikh boy, Vishwajit, who was born in Washington, D.C., but his family, like a lot of kids raised by grandparents in India, they come back. So he comes back and the 84 riots happens and he witnesses this harsh reality of life of being a Sikh in India at that time. And so much of riots without any accountability and so much of uncertainty and pain. And then he moves to America, which is his country of birth. And then he starts feeling so much of racism post 9/11 that he doesn't know what to do with himself with so much of hate around him. And so he dresses up like a superhero, like Captain America. And people start embracing that idea, that Captain America. So in 2013, I read about him. I followed him for many years. He is my lifeline, what he's done. So when Ryan Vestra, he's a Hollywood filmmaker. When he decided to make a movie on Vishwajit, my heart was like, this is amazing. And then they got selected in Tribeca Film Festival, where they qualified for Oscars now. It's a beautiful film which talks about inclusivity, celebrating uniqueness, and how a true society is, which is diverse and embraces it.
Beautiful. And has the Oscar qualification sunk in?
No, it never does. Oscar qualification is like, for short films, you have to get into some top festivals and win awards. And this movie has been winning awards left and right, been screened in many places. But now the second leg of the whole journey starts, which is called the shortlisting. So out of all the movies which are qualified, the voters will vote for the top 15 films, the top 10 movies which will be qualified, which will be shortlisted, and they will go ahead again for voting, out of which 5 will be nominated. It's a very massive, big structure voting system in the US, and there are voters in around the world. But it's a big question, and I feel it'll be one of the biggest moments of my life. I hope you can quote this: to watch a Sikh with a turban and beard walk up to the steps of the Oscars and receiving the award. I think that is how you answer for hate, that you rise above everyone else. And I'm standing behind it with every drop of my blood.
Uh, you're so emotionally connected to the film. Uh, what was the process like for you to be a part of the making, to support it through and through?
I was not a part of the making. It was only a collaboration between Ryan and Vishwajit. They spent almost 4 years during the pandemic, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, the whole part of it. They were the ones who were totally into this. And I'm sure after we get shortlisted, I'm going to bring Ryan and Vishwajit to you, and you can ask them all the detailed processes. But my job as an executive producer is keep opening the doors, keep knocking on the doors, keep reaching out to people. We have two major screenings coming up in New York. One is on 14th at Asia Society in New York, and second is on December 16th at the Rubin Museum of Art in Chelsea, New York. So this is the two major screenings are coming up. Let people come, understand Vishwajit's thought process, Ryan's thought process. I think it's going to be amazing.
And Guneet Monga and you are such good friends, and we've seen how much your mother loves her. Uh, what?
My, mo-
what?
my mother told her a long time back, you win the Oscar and you're going to bring it to Amritsar, and I'm going to pick you up from the airport. I have cars and drivers, but my mom is like, no, my daughter is coming home after becoming such a big leader for our country. I need to. And my mom we got the car from Guneet right inside the airport, and my mom is driving it. And I'm like, Mom, I have four more cars with the drivers. No, my daughter has come back home. And it was very emotional that the way Guneet came, and the how the country embraced her. And she's written a whole new chapter for Indian women in the world. For me, actually, in the media world, she's the most powerful Indian woman in the world who is respected across the borders.
Very true. Uh, but what kind of conversations do the two of you have about food and films?
Um, so we have so much more. I have to learn so much from Guneet. I'm going to share an incident, which might be my happiest or the saddest day of my life. So Guneet wins the Oscar, and I'm watching her, and she didn't have a speech. And
Mhm.
I'm messaging Sunny, her husband, and Guneet. You know, I saw that they were asked literally asked to leave, and I'm super excited. I'm jumping in the hotel and everything, and then I get a message from. Then I get a call from Guneet. She's off the stage. She's out, and she's called. She's saying, we won," and then the phone hangs up, and then I get a call from Sunny that Guneet had a major nervous breakdown, and Sunny hangs up the phone. So all night, I'm calling all the emergency centers, hospitals in Beverly Hills, in Los Angeles, trying to figure out Guneet Monga Kapoor, where is she? So that was my Oscar night. So everybody's like, oh, you were celebrating. I said, no, I was on the phones calling all the emergency services. I'm tracing my sister down in the hospital, and Guneet knows about it. And after 24 hours, I get a message from Sunny that she's okay. Till those 24 hours, I was going crazy.
Again, a lot of people do not know about your directorial prowess. Uh, would you would you like to talk about how you went into directing films?
Oh, so this all happened post 9/11, that my brain started to find a new way, that because my cooking has given me such a big identity around the world. When I saw so much of discrimination against the Sikhs in Queens, in New York, and it really broke my heart. And that is when I made a documentary series called Holy Kitchens, in which I wanted to tell the world who Sikhs are, who Muslims are, through who Hindus are, who Buddhists are, like a universal brotherhood kind of a storyline where you understand a faith through food. And I've always been very passionate about that. And then the Wisconsin Gurdwara shooting happened, where one crazy guy goes inside Sikhs who were praying on Sunday and open fires on them. And this really broke my heart. And that is when Holy Kitchens was demanded by many colleges, Ivy League schools, that I go and tour around America, even Oxford University, to speak about who Sikhs are. So that is how my filmmaking started. And then I got very passionate about the subject of widows in Vrindavan and Varanasi, that I made an entire movie on that called The Last Color. And my next movie, which I've written, directed, produced, makeup, dialogues, everything, screenplay, is direct editing, everything. I'm like, it's one of my favorite projects. It's coming out next year called Imaginary Rain with Shabana Azmi. That is where I um, what we were doing in India for the last. It's been almost 5 years we are making that film.
And you were just mentioning The Last Color. Do you think if it had gotten a wider release, it would have been better?
Absolutely, wider is always great. I'm not that. I'm not. I love thinking like an artsy person, but I'm a businessman. I completely understand. Some days your equity has to be that. But just to remind you, it was Vogue's 10 best movies. It ran in 100 film festivals around the world, and it was on Amazon. And during the month of March, I think it was number one movie on OTT. And for a chef to make a whole movie by himself and create it and produce it and write it, I think it's kind of phenomenal. What bigger audience when a movie can change a law? What bigger audience do you need? I don't understand that question. That's why people just have this idea fixed in their mind. Success of the movie is by the revenue. I totally disagree. Success of the movie is by the impact. If a movie could get me in front of the congressman in Washington, D.C. at the Congress, then the movie has done its job. If the movie got standing ovation at the United Nations, what bigger audience do I need?
Absolutely. And you've worked with Shabana Azmi, and she in an interview mentioned that she could barely make tea. But you wanted her to get to know how to cook and everything. What was the process like working with her, and how did you nudge her in that direction?
So we had a conscious decision. We decided, हमने कहा कि Shivana ji, because she is such a perfectionist and she gets into the character, and though the greatest actor of all time, she can hold something and just claim it that that's hers, right? But she wanted to go on the full route. आटा भी गूंदना है, भिंडी को भी स्टफ करना है, फिश काटनी है, चिकन टिक्का का मसाला बनाना है, चिकन टिक्का लगाना है, खोबा रोटी बनाएंगे मूवी में, सुल्तानी दाल बनाएंगे शिवाना जी मूवी में. She did all the cooking herself, just to let you know. We did not help her in cooking. She had to do the cooking herself. Because अमृतसर में जो उनका शूट है उसमें फुलके भी बहुत बनाने थे उनको. So you can see the videos, langar mein she is doing seva, so she's making perfect. Unka haath, because she's such a intelligent human being that when she keeps her mind on something, daughter bhi to kiski hai, just imagine. That's what I used to tell her. You're capable of doing everything. Look at your DNA. And she makes perfect chapati. She made, like, I'm sure Javed ji ने अभी तक नहीं खाई उनके हाथ की रोटी, पर उन्होंने मेरी बहुत महीने साल तक डीपी थी मेरी व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर उनकी चपाती बनाई हुई.
And what was the experience for you like to be directing somebody as brilliant as Shabana Azmi?
It's magical. I generally don't work with people who are more dedicated than me. Generally, they're at the same level or maybe less. But this was no competition. She is like 10 million light years ahead of me. Her dedication towards her craft, she's a different person. The moment you say action, she just turns into Prerna, the chef. Oh my God. And sometimes I had to tell her that when she's doing a character role, which is very difficult, her role is very difficult in the movie. And sometimes she'll look at me and say, Ho gaya? I said, Shivana ji, don't shift so quickly. My brain is still not accustomed right now. But she knows when the shot is done. She's been trained by the best in the world and possibly one of my best work. And, I was saving my best work to give a tribute to my grandma. My entire life is a tribute to her, but I was saving it for this day when I can write something and create something and show the world my love and gratitude for her. So this movie is going to be one of those.
How wonderful. And both your mother and your grandmom have such an influence in your life. Uh, how your career as a chef, how is it impacted by them? they stood by you big time, and how do you think their influence has gone on with you as you progress in life?
It's totally their DNA. I'm an extension of them. And I would have never made this career choice if my grandma was not standing behind me, you know, and I would have never thought of becoming who I am without the support of my mom, without her teaching me the sense of business, the understanding of course, it was a small business. People say, oh, but how come a business which is 10 rupees can teach you about running a Michelin-star restaurant? No, it doesn't teach you. But what the 10 rupees place teaches you, a Michelin-star restaurant can't teach you. Understanding the dynamics of this, and whatever I learned is a total reflection of them, and I continue to do it. And I'm one of those lucky people who has the power and a platform to constantly remind people where it all comes from. My hands come from where. Every time it's also very funny. You say, what mother's contribution? I had very ugly teeth. And at that time, when we were growing up in 80s, there was nothing as dentures, there's nothing as braces. Kuch hota nahi tha aisa, Amritsar mein खास कर. But my mom was like so obsessed. She's saying, नहीं, इसके दांत perfect होने चाहिए. क्योंकि जब ये स्माइल करता है तो मम्मा के पापा बोलते थे इसके दांत नहीं है, मोती हैं. And those छोटे जो पहले दांत थे वो तो टूट जाते हैं. And it's all because of her. How I look, how I behave, how I do my transactions, how I do my customer service, think of restaurant, my food, my books. It's only a reflection of them.
Before we conclude, we're going to ask you what is next for you in line?
Next to me, oh my God. I need to see a Sikh man walk up to the Oscars. I need to release my movie Imaginary Rain, which is tribute to Indian home cooking. We have a major flagship restaurant coming out next year in New York. I have to concentrate on that. And of course, if MasterChef happens, I'll be happy to host that if I'm invited. And I have 3 books coming out, and I'm very proud of them. I also have a farm, and I'm very proud of it that I'm growing all the Indian flowers now in New York, from Kashmiri Nargis to Marigold to Desi Gulab to Parijat. I'm trying because when I only want to decorate the restaurant with Indian flowers or Rajnigandha. Indian sabjiyan leke aa rahe hain hum log, Indian fruits leke aa rahe hain bahut sare, so that we can make the world taste. And even the kids who live in diaspora, the first generation kids are our kids. I have to embrace them wholeheartedly. And then we have some amazing stuff which I'll release online, which is, again, if I say now, you'll say like, all right, ek aur career shuru kara hai 52 ki umar mein. So I don't want you to react like that. But yes, I'm
It's never too late to start something.
Never too late. It's never too late. At 52, if I'm saying I'm going to start my flagship now, and people are like, oh no, you've received everything you wanted in your life, you should just retire. I'm like, no, God has given us a platform to tell a bigger story of our country.
Okay, so I'm going to break the questions. First, you can answer the 3 dishes that you cannot do without at all in life.
Multi-grain khichdi, वही बनती है मेरी. और I'm crazy about broccoli and palak.
All very healthy.
And egg whites, of course. Egg whites. 16 egg whites in a day.
Wow. But in the next 10 years, as someone who's out there, who's seen a lot of it, where do you think Indian cooking what will it transform into? Or Indian culinary skills per se?
Indian food is going to go very regional, because now people have started investing on restaurants which are regional. It has been amazing to have such a great success in America, what I've had getting the regional dishes out on the mainstream platforms. I see a lot of investors are now putting, and hopefully there'll be a Michelin-star Indian chef in every big city of the world. And that just by saying that, it makes me emotional, because when we were growing up and learning how to cook in colleges, the teachers would always tell us that Michelin stars are not for you. You have to work under white chefs so that they get a Michelin star. So I'm glad in my lifetime I changed that dialogue. So people say, अरे छोटी छोटी बातें याद रखता है पागल की तरह. ऐसे छोटी बात नहीं थी उस टाइम, मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात थी कि मैं आज़ाद देश में पैदा हुआ हूँ, पर somebody is telling me तो गुलाम है. So I have to, that's my biggest mission of my life, to see and to support all these young chefs coming from India. Oh, and it's going to go really far. Indian vegetarian is catching up a lot. The regional cuisine is on fire right now. I'm so proud. I hope I can see an Odia restaurant winning a Michelin star. That will be my last wish of a restaurant. Or a chef from Northeast cuisine to get a Michelin star, or a Kashmiri Pandit chef to get a Michelin star. I really want to see that because those cuisines will totally be transformed.
That's a wonderful dream to have, really. Thank you for that, for
Thank
saying,
you so much.
and thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been so
Thank,
lovely talking to you.
thank you so. I'm losing my voice because it's too late here, but still, it was a pleasure talking to you. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.